Hello, my name is Burke Harman, and my topic was diseases/disorders. From Ebola to autism, I learned a lot, and I'll be talking about it all in my documentary. My first topic was Ebola, a disease that is very contagious and causes severe bleeding and organ failure, and can lead to death very quickly. I'll now show you a short clip for more information on Ebola. Pretty interesting stuff about Ebola. Who would have thought it would have originated from bats? My next topic was autism, a serious developmental disorder that impairs the ability to communicate and interact with others. It's a very sad disorder, and it restricts people from living a normal life. There is no exact cause of autism either. Who knows where this could come from, but it's a very sad disease, and these people, the thing that I do like about autism though is, not like about it, but find interesting, the people who have autism are very happy people, and it's good to see. Here's another short clip, but this one is about autism.
Do you know somebody with autism? Autism is much more common than most people think. About 1 in 100 people have autism. That's more than 700,000 in the UK alone. So chances are that someone you know, or work with, or love has the condition. What is autism? Autism is a lifelong developmental disability that affects how we communicate with and relate to others. And it affects how we make sense of the world around us. Lots of things that people take for granted, like body language and metaphors, can be confusing and alienating for us. Autism is a spectrum condition, so that whilst we all share certain difficulties, our autism will affect us in different ways. Some of us have been to university and hold down jobs, whilst others need a lifetime of specialist support. Asperger's syndrome is a form of autism. People with Asperger's syndrome are often of average or above average intelligence. They have fewer problems with speech, but may still have difficulties with understanding and processing language. What is autism like? For us, the world can be a confusing mass of people, events and places. Sometimes we struggle to make sense of the world, and this can make us anxious. Every person with autism is different. That's what makes it so difficult to understand. But some of the characteristics that we have include a love of routines, sensory issues such as noises or smells or light, and having special interests. Some of us experience difficulties in understanding and relating to other people, and having a social life can be that much harder for us. For some of us, for example, going to a party can be really hard because we don't know what's going to happen or who will be there, and it often gets too noisy, which can be upsetting. Other people with autism have trouble reading facial expressions, understanding jokes or sarcasm, or common phrases like break a leg. Even phrases people use every day like it's cool can be disorientating. You think they're asking you to turn the air conditioning off. Many people with autism don't look disabled. Parents of children with autism often say that people simply think their child is naughty, while we adults find that we are misunderstood. That is why it is called a hidden disability. What causes autism? The exact cause of autism is still being investigated, but research suggests that a combination of factors, genetic and environmental, may account for changes in brain development. Autism is not caused by a person's upbringing or their social circumstances. Is there a cure? There is no cure for autism, but there are interventions that enable learning and development which may be helpful. You can find out more by going to www.autism.org.uk/approaches. Diagnosis. If you or someone you know thinks they have autism, they can contact their GP, who can refer them to a specialist for diagnosis. So how can you help? There are many good people doing good work for autism up and down the country, but we need the support of the wider community. Together we can break down barriers. Together we can ensure that autism, which is far more common than other conditions that get far more attention, remains on the agenda. We hope that you will join us in helping more people with autism lead the life they choose. If you want to learn more about autism, go to www.autism.org.uk or click here. You can receive continuous news and information about autism by becoming a member of the National Autistic Society. As a member, you will receive Your Autism magazine quarterly, which includes news about autism, stories from people living with autism, practical tips, and much more. You will also receive regular e-newsletters, an autism alert card, and exclusive voting rights which help influence how the National Autistic Society, the leading UK charity for people with autism, can continue to help people with autism. Accept difference, not indifference. Thank you.
Autism is a very interesting neurological disease, as you can see, and it can cause kids to be very intelligent. My next topic part was PTSD, a disorder that affects troops from war, or just not troops from war, can affect anyone experiencing a traumatic event, very scary moment in their life, and it's a condition triggered by experiencing a terrifying or traumatic event in their life, like war. And it can last months or years, and it is very hard to stop, and it's very sad to see people go through PTSD. My heart goes out to all the troops who have PTSD and anyone else who might have the disorder. Here's more information about PTSD.
Have you or someone you love ever been in a tornado or car accident, experienced sexual or physical abuse, served in a war zone? Most people have been through some kind of life-threatening or traumatic event, and it's common to have stress-related reactions after a trauma. But when symptoms last more than 3 months and they're not getting better, it's time to get help. Meet Sam. He recently returned from serving in Iraq. For many people, being in a crowded place like a baseball stadium or busy grocery store feels comfortable, but not for Sam. What should be a nice night out, taking his wife Tara to a restaurant, isn't fun for him anymore. He can only handle it if he sits with his back to the wall where he has a good view of the exits, and even then, he's too on edge to really enjoy it. At home, things aren't the way they used to be either. His sleep is restless at best, and some nights Tara isn't sure if Sam comes to bed at all. Sam seems to have a short fuse these days, and sometimes he snaps at Tara over tiny misunderstandings. What he and Tara never talk about is the trauma he experienced when he was deployed. He's never mentioned the guilt, the weight he carries around, wishing he could have done more to prevent what happened. Instead, he's turned inward, pulling away from family and friends. Tara tried to give him some space, but after months passing without change, she really started to worry. She was the one to finally say what they were both thinking: it's time to get help. That's when Sam finally decided to take action. He reached out to a doctor who told him about PTSD, or post-traumatic stress disorder. Sam's symptoms were getting in the way of enjoying his life. Re-experiencing, hyperarousal, feeling worse about yourself or the world, and avoidance are the 4 types of symptoms people with PTSD have. Sam's doctor explained each. The first is reliving the event, or re-experiencing. This is often an unwanted memory or even a flashback where you feel like you're right back in the situation again. Seeing, hearing, or even smelling something that reminds you of the trauma can trigger these. Nightmares where you relive parts of the event in your sleep are common too. The second is avoidance. Staying away from situations that remind you of the trauma. That's why Sam tries to avoid thinking about painful memories altogether. He pours himself into his work or uses alcohol to keep his mind from going back to the trauma. The third is feeling worse about yourself or the world since the trauma. You might feel overwhelming guilt, like Sam, or not trust anyone. You just might not be able to feel happy, even when you are around people you love. The fourth type of symptom is sudden rushes of anger, irritability, feeling jittery, always on alert, always on the lookout for danger. This is called hyperarousal, and loud noises or a driver cutting in front of you can be all it takes to set you off. If you recognize any of these symptoms of PTSD in yourself or someone you love, don't wait. See your doctor to find out if it could be PTSD. Just like Sam and Tara found, there is hope. You don't have to live with the symptoms of PTSD forever. Effective treatments are available. To learn more about PTSD or how to get help, visit the National Center for PTSD website at www.ptsd.va.gov.
PTSD is a very sad disorder, and as you saw, it is not just from war. If you notice anyone acting different or afraid or aggravated and they've suffered from a traumatic event, then get them help. This topic is a major topic in diseases/disorders because people don't understand if they have it, as the symptoms are flashbacks, nightmares, and anxiety. My next disease/disorder is bipolar disorder. This is when you go from happy to sad. You have extreme mood swings. Here is more about bipolar disorder. The symptoms for bipolar disorder are scattered and determined on what mood the person is in. And as you saw in the last graphic, that they can change drastically. The last disease I researched was schizophrenia. This disease can cause hallucinations and delusions. Here's all you need to know about
schizophrenia, a serious mental disorder that is characterized by severe disruptions in psychological functioning. Schizophrenics suffer from a serious loss of contact with reality. 1% of the world suffers from it. Schizophrenics may experience a variety of frightening symptoms, including hallucinations, where sufferers see, hear, taste, feel, and smell what no one else can. Also, passivity experiences and thought disturbances, including thought insertion, thought withdrawal, and thought broadcasting. No single cause of schizophrenia has been identified. Biological and psychological approaches suggest a complex interaction between factors. A neurobiological approach suggests that dopamine in high levels in the brain causes schizophrenic symptoms, whereas increasing medical evidence suggests that schizophrenia may be related to damage in specific areas of the brain. Antipsychotic drugs can eliminate many of the symptoms of schizophrenia, but are ineffective in around 30 to 40% of sufferers.
That was my last disease I researched. I learned so much this year about all the diseases I looked into and the disorders. Yet no one will want to have these diseases or disorders, but they are what make our world unique. It is important to respect and learn from the people with these diseases and disorders. Other than Ebola, none of these diseases are contagious. But remember, be safe and make sure you live in a good environment. And a common risk factor for many diseases is smoking, so don't smoke. Ever. And for Ebola, make sure you wash your hands to keep safe around anything like that. I hope you learned a lot from my documentary. I'd like to thank my classmates, most importantly, Mr. Zeleny. Thank you. See ya.